Evening, everybody.
That's right.
Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. It's been a busy week. Really, it's just been a busy beginning of this week. Land of last week wasn't all that busy. But here we are talking about it all the same. The Honcho is back with us live from Bend, Oregon. Parts unknown, as it's better referred to. And of course, Rack Time Rob. We'll be right back with you to discuss all this fun stuff once you get done listening to our kick-ass theme song. Be back. Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday night. It's 9:05. Thank you for staying with us after the end of WCW Thunder. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. You spent all afternoon monkeying around with the rest. Now sit down and listen to the best. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. Joining me after his 2 weeks off in the old country, exploring the continent, it's the Honcho, Mark Weber.
That's right. Man, oh man, I had a good time hitting Rome and Greece and a bunch of islands in the middle. And what makes a successful vacation for El Honcho? No sunburn. I mean, that's a win. Big time. That's an upset. I know y'all had money on the other way. But
I mean, if you had stayed home, all the Canadian smoke would have protected you from the sun's rays. So you were going out on a bit of a limb there.
It was a good time to get out of town while our America's hat was on fire. So appreciate that. And now I'm back I'm in God's country, back home in Bend, Oregon. 2 shows. So I'll try to dress it up. Maybe I'll throw some lava bear stuff on the wall next time. It is a little sparse. I mean,
it's okay. It's your home, but it's not where you live.
So yeah, I don't have a lot of say in what goes on here anymore. But I cleaned those gutters, let me tell you, because not gonna sell out Mama Bear, but I'm 49, right? So my mom probably shouldn't be up on ladders anymore. So that's what I'm doing this week. Stuff up high. So.
No, stairs are dicey, so ladders are absolutely not.
Yeah. No real stairs, but a couple of steps up and down in this house. So we'll see. Nobody's falling.
So behind you is that a full vertical blind or is it the slats?
Right. No, it's actually it's sliding doors.
Okay.
This was my room. This is my room when I was a kid, and to my left is where I installed shelves. Like I think I had 7 shelves long, like 8 feet long, maybe 10 inches deep, stained a dark brown, and that's where I had all my Joes laid up like a toy store in the earliest years before we got to like 5 or 6 years in, when I could have pretty much everything up there, and the planes hanging from molly bolts in the ceiling, and it was pretty slick Joe cave back in the day.
Yeah, we would not have been allowed to do that with the aircraft. That would have been put right down.
That would have been a no-no.
Mrs. I was not down with that sort of furnishing.
Molly bolts with fishing line, right? I'm sure that's probably what most people do. It looked good.
Right.
Had a Sky Striker and a Night Raven and a Rattler and a Conquest up there. And they were on loop, so I could take them down if I wanted to. That's
cool. You can't. You're not just going to hang them up and leave them up.
No, I needed them when I would do the war in the family room every 6 weeks or so.
Different set of loops down there.
That's still the life goal, man. Sooner or later, I'm cracking them all out, and we're going to have the war to settle the score out in the family room. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, my God. I mean, truly, we don't so much outgrow our obsessions. We just get bigger and hairier about them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they get better funded
Right.
at times. I mean, it ebbs and flows, right? Depending on what's going on. But
right. We'll give you lots of chance to go off about that, the time you've missed later on in the show, Mark. But in the bottom row tonight, he is a man with a recaptured show forthwith.
Eventually. Hi.
I would ask what you were up to, but I know that's been nothing.
Yeah, I should eventually start working in something. So I'm, not completely out of practice by the time August rolls around.
Are you still basking in the I have all this summer in front of me time, or are you starting to see it creeping up over the horizon?
That starts happening about July 4th.
Okay. So the fireworks are essentially the warning. It's the starting
pistol, yeah.
Yeah, that Galactus is coming.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Hey, Mark, in regards to your war, Josiah Alcorn is asking, do Tombstone and Jungle Viper get invited to the war?
It's something I'll have to figure out, because before it was all 3 3/4, right? So
right. Well, Tombstone is not he is not a classified figure, so
yeah. I'm just wondering if those 4-inch Joes fit in. I think it'll probably be something like that, right? Guys that never existed in 3 3/4, they're in somewhere. Maybe they're all on a hydrofoil together, so they fit in size-wise, because those guys were a little bit bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the fun things we can debate in Eternal G.I. Joe. That's a league where we take all the greatest Joes throughout history and put them in. Anyways,
it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to run those box scores after the game or after the show. That was a little inside Eternal baseball with about 40 games to go in the regular season. The program started to glitch, and every night I would get 1 to 3 box scores that didn't populate. So I would post up 13 box scores for 26 teams, and then for 6 teams I would say, hey, sorry, there was a glitch. And when I asked the guys who make the software, who've been really good, dksports.com free plug, they were like, yeah, just run the new patch and it'll be fine. And I'm like, I'm running a public league that the patch is probably going to fix, but there's, who knows, a 5-10% chance it's going to torpedo the whole thing. So I had to run games individually for the last 40 games of the regular season just to ensure they had box scores. And I would do that after the show got over on Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. So Tuesday nights, not so much Tuesday nights, but Wednesday mornings kind of suck since, I don't know, March. So now that Eternal Baseball is in the postseason or past the postseason award season, that's great. I'm out here on the Pacific time zone where sports is so much better. Oh my God. Half my fantasy. Go ahead.
It's all over by what, 9 p.m., right?
Dude, Sunday, my fantasy team got wrecked because I didn't realize East Coast baseball games had first pitch at 10 a.m. out here. So come about lunchtime, I'm like, I should see who's in the starting lineups. Oh, hell. But man, there ain't nothing like a good NFL Sunday on West Coast time where the first game is at 10 a.m. and the afternoon games are at 1 p.m. and Sunday night football starts at 5 and you're done by 8 p.m. and you've still got evening left, right?
Yeah.
That is superior in every way to what we normally deal with out east.
Viper Scout, with today's secret words, I'm sure you're glad no news broke right before the show.
It'll just break during.
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's Yojo June in a nutshell. As soon as we saw this year that they did they scheduled everything for Wednesday instead of Tuesday. Like last year for Yojo June, everything was on Tuesday. Then we would come on, do shows on Friday, right? So it was lots of time to let things digest, and we could sit, we ruminate a little bit, have a plan of attack. This year, no, shows on Tuesday. Everything is lined up for Wednesday, which means it's all leaking out Tuesday night. Yeah. And so I knew once that schedule was released, I was in for a terrible, terrible Yo-Jo June experience. Because, the rest of my staff, Mark, Joe Colton, and Rob, all technically garbage.
Right.
Not to say, as hosts, you're wonderful. As folks who help with social media, I get some from Mark, and nothing from Joe, and Rob doesn't even know what Facebook is.
Well, I know what it is. I just choose not to participate.
So,
yeah, Rob's pretty much Instagram and OnlyFans, and that's it.
Right. Instagram, loyal Instagram has failed me today. Like, I had a bunch of stuff ready to go on Instagram, and none of it published when it was supposed to, which is the first time Instagram has been the one that's totally chunked up about it. But yeah, it's been a month, and specifically today has been a day. But speaking of which, I don't want to waste too much time in the pre-show here, because we do have a good amount of stuff to talk about, and we've got some stuff to let Mark catch up on. Some, why have a former head of marketing for G.I. Joe on your show if you're not going to let him talk about G.I. Joe, right?
I mean, I'm a former a lot of things. I need to wear it like fruit salad on my chest.
Right, I hear you. Like, one of these days, you and I, we're gonna have to make up T-shirts with all of our former jobs.
Right, just crossed out.
The difference is yours will probably be better than mine, but my list might be longer.
I collect G.I. Joes, a little bit of Transformers, and former job titles. So,
right. Jake Rose says, sorry, he's late. Batman the Animated Series went long. Yeah, but we get that. Jake. We totally get that. That's why we start at 9:05. It's so we can get that last couple of minutes of BTAS in there. And Diana notes that I think Meta Business crapped out. It at least Meta. I can't get anything to work in Meta Business. I can't get anything to work in Instagram proper. It's all just ugh. It is the worst.
They're busy making terrible commercials.
Right. Or that one for WhatsApp with the carrier pigeons. Anyways. Oh, first up on the docket, as usual, what do you say we get into community calendar? Mark, pick a number between 1 and 8.
7.
Community calendar.
The 4 or 5, it's jam! She knows. It's that time. I'm so my brother. I'm your host, my dearest Aaron.
It's the one with the chicken nugget.
Is Joe in that at all?
No, she's replaced by the chicken nugget.
So that's all right. We'll have to retire that one when she gets back.
Oh no,
you can't replace that one. It's got the C-Nug.
Yeah, that's the one with the C-Nug, man.
So she's there in spirit.
Not that Joe's ego couldn't take being removed from an intro, but she's been replaced by a bouncing chicken nugget. Which is,
look, man, it's better than having her A, being stalked by a giant Rakondo.
Yeah.
Or B, a picture, the picture of her foot.
Yeah.
Last thing we need is Joe Colton turning up on WikiFeet, right? But we know that at the end of the day, I'm responsible for that, and I'm going to have to live with it, and probably like buy lunch every time I'm in town to visit Joe Colton for the rest of my life.
And the Chaos Baby.
And Mango Habanero.
The Chaos Baby.
Little Mango, who's 3.5 weeks old. I imagine if Mom's genes passed on, that she can finish a full 6-inch sub on her own by this point.
And Wes is looking forward to sleeping again at some point.
Well, apparently, if you've been keeping up with Facebook, and I forgive you because you've been in Europe if you haven't, but apparently Wes is the one that can get the baby to sleep.
I think I saw a post where he said, hey, I'm playing some Mass Effect 3 with my little buddy, and she was just like out on his, I think he was slouched and she was laying on his stomach.
Right.
Because if I say laying on the belly, it makes it sound like he's just standing up and has this big goiter that the baby can use as a shelf. And we know that's not true. So
Anyhow, Anna Davis notes that they have Facebook in Europe. I know they do. It's called El Faso Buco.
That's
But
right.
Mark had stuff to do.
Yeah.
More of that. He was taking his wife and 2 teenagers across Europe. So it's not so much that Facebook isn't here for them; it's that he's not there for it.
And I had
You know what
I
else
had
Europe also has?
Ooh, what?
Roaming charges. So
Yeah, that's right. And I had limited connectivity because I was on a boat. I'm on a boat.
oh, cruise ship internet. That's like what, $100 a minute?
Something like that.
I'm not paying for any of that, but once in a while we'd get close enough to a town that I could get out on the veranda basically and like hold the phone out over the ocean.
Right.
That's
He's
a good idea.
leaning on the other side of the rail, trying to get a bar.
Hey man, it was Eternal Baseball playoff time. Somebody's got to upload that stuff. Actually, kudos to my buddy Roto because he did almost all. I did the work, gave it to him. He made sure it got uploaded, and it was slick.
But anyhow, Christian McKelvey, Mark did discuss avoiding the sun at the beginning of the show. Just catch the beginning when we're done here. He'll give you the whole story.
Here's
Sunblock
the short
876.
The short version, yeah, SPF 912. Looks like motor oil coming out.
When you drink enough at night that you're asleep the entire day, that's how you get that. Anyway.
Yeah, for me, I have to wear so much sunscreen that if I didn't get burned, at the end of the day, I just feel like a glazed donut. It's just gross. I just come walking in with the arms out to the side and the legs spread because I don't want any of me to touch me.
There's like napkins and debris from the air stuck to you.
Yeah. Because I don't. If I cross my arms, I don't know if they'll unlatch. Like
you're not actually moving your legs. The wind is just pushing you along the deck because you're greasy.
Yeah. When we got to the foot of the Parthenon in Athens, and the Parthenon is up on a gigantic hill because that's where you build your big temple. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Let's get me closer to the sun. What a great idea this is.
Krista McKelvey asks, jelly filled, and I would say I'd hope so. He's on vacation.
No.
Michael Gene Fleming has a serious question for the honcho from a fellow pale-skinned redhead. Which sunscreen do you use?
I think I was using, there's a copper tone, I think it's SPF 50 in all honesty. And it looks like a deodorant. It's yellow. And you actually roll it up like a deodorant stick and then you just paint. Right? And that was what got me through. So, and I wore a hat most days. But yeah, I got through it without a burn. I was pretty impressed, pretty proud of myself. Was it a normal ball cap or do you have one of those cool wide brim dad hats? Right. No, it's just my ASU cat. But I wore it to be an idiot American, like I'm the first one to think of it. I wore a big Nike shirt up to the Parthenon because there's a temple to Nike, the actual Greek goddess of victory. So I'm like, oh, check me out, represent Nike. First guy to do that, I'm sure.
Right. Did they give you like the balloons drop down with the 1 millionth Nike photo?
No, but there's a cat up on the top, maybe more than one. We only saw one. There's a cat at the top of the Parthenon who was big and chonky. He just needed a tank. And I'm like, this is the smartest cat ever. He's all the way up top. He's fighting nobody else, no other cat for scraps or droppings. And there's big parts up top there that are illegal for people to go to. So anytime cat gets tired of people, it's just like, dig it. No people over there. Bonk, lays down. Right. And nobody harasses it. And when he's hungry or he wants a little ear scratch, over he comes. And he was big. So I'm like, I don't think he's making the trip up and down a whole lot. I think he just rules Athens. Yeah, good for him. He's got to be named Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't before, he is now.
He is now, and he made friends with Miss Elizabeth, my daughter. So
that is no surprise whatsoever. None.
Yeah.
0%.
Yeah.
First up on the old calendar this weekend, Fan Expo Denver. Somehow we missed out on this one. It's kind of a big show. That is all weekend long at the Colorado Convention Center, just outside of Denver, Colorado. Tickets and information available at fanexpodenver.com. Our good pal Brian Cummings is there. Dr. Mindbender himself in the house. I could not find a suitable graphic to download and pop up here for him, so I just gave him the gold seal. But Fan Expo Denver, if you're anywhere around the Rocky Mountain State, get yourself there and say hey to Brian Cummings. Tell him What's on Joe Mind sent you. He might even remember us.
Mm-hmm.
He probably does. Brian Cummings, he's one of those guys that I'll call him up after a couple of years to get him on the show, and he'll be like, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" All right.
He played Cobra Jeopardy a couple of years ago.
He did.
Yeah.
He finished second. He was suffered a narrow defeat at the hands of grand champion Morgan Lofting. Joe Fan 84 says, "Sorry everyone, I'll be working late as usual. I'll be listening in the background. Hey Beta Ray Bob." Well, hey to you too then. Don't say hey to us. We're on the freaking show, but sure.
Right.
You go on yourself, Joe Fan 84.
Yeah, I managed to log in on time on my third week of consecutive vacation. So
Neil Hill asks, free parking? Cannot confirm. I'm going to guess at the Colorado Convention Center, there's a good chance that it is not. So maybe, but maybe not. Jeff Butler, when I first realized Brian Cummings is the announcer on the new Let's Make a Deal in the 80s, made it even more fun to watch. He has given us some of those stories. If you go back into the audio library, find the Brian Cummings interviews, he talks about his time with Monty Hall and the gang, so you will enjoy those, Jeff Butler. Speaking of Jeff Butler, we have tangible proof that he is the king of the clicky pen somewhere. I'm not finding the button. I'll find it later. Anyways, so again, if you're anywhere around Denver, get yourself to the Colorado Convention Center. Talk to Brian Cummings. Say hey. This is a big show, in all honesty. So plan on spending some time. Plan on spending some coin to get in. But there's a lot of guests. There's a lot of booths. There's a lot going on at Fan Expo Denver. July 9th, following weekend, we got Toyman in St. Louis.
Woohoo!
Out at the Machinist Hall in Bridgeton. That is going from 9 to 2. $5 admission, $15 gets you in early for an hour. And as you know, that's when all the deals happen.
absolutely.
That's when it all happens at BenCon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pre-show.
BenCon's massive. Home of Night Fox is doing signings. It's going to be great.
Pre-show is the best show at BenCon.
That's what I'm talking about. No Cougars allowed. Mountain View Cougars. That is.
2 full stories of toy dealers, craftspeople, artists. They've got sometimes former athletes. It is jammed. It is a large building jammed full of toy stuff. It is a great time. If you're anywhere close to St. Louis, get yourself a Toyman show. Make sure you say hey to Dave Draper. Give him a hug.
Big hug.
That's it. Tell him What's on Joe Mind sent you.
A long, lingering hug.
Yeah.
And if you see Chris, the gentleman in the cartoon there, tell him that he heard this on What's on Joe Mind. That will get you a 0% discount on your admission. So be sure to do that too. 0%, a big 0%.
That's right.
Firefly notes that Toyman is thick in the drum.
Good point.
Oh. Nick Adams, sunscreen is for the weak. A real man takes the 2nd-degree burns and then uses the pus from the blisters to moisturize the rest of their skin.
Speaking of huggable, that's Nick Adams.
Right. When Mark is bursting into flames, though, that's not a pus situation. Yeah. That is immolation. That's totally different.
Did he just tell me to put the lotion on my skin?
I believe he did. I think he did.
Lord.
And since we might be able to convince him that you're in a basement, that makes it even worse.
Right, with Cot Guy.
Right. Oh. Felix Urquinez notes that being a former athlete is the best job. Look, man, if I could get away with it, I'd do it. Right. I'm with Diana. I went right to former athlete, skip the other parts. Not so much. Not so much that I skipped the other parts, but they certainly skipped me.
That's right. Been there.
Yeah, I tried too, man. I played baseball through high school. It just wasn't going to work out past that. It wasn't going to happen.
I played soccer till soccer played me.
Right. But remember, nobody's fast on the ground.
Nobody's fast on the ground.
Or nobody's fast when they're on the ground, I suppose. That's probably more accurate.
Yeah, it gets a little wordy if you have to explain it. If you don't get it, I'll show you. How's that?
You might need help getting up afterwards at this point, but
that's true. But whatever.
I certainly would. Anyway.
Come to Mark Webber's slide tackle camp.
That's right. Basically, very little will get you kicked out, right?
NFL's got punt, pass, and kick. You've got slide, tackle, and fight.
And bite.
Slide, tackle, and bruise.
That's it.
Next up, we've got a returning favorite. The Kentuckiana G.I. Joe Toy Expo is back for the 10th year. That is going to be happening July 29th at the Paroquet Springs Conference Center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. This is right off of their website. Our 10th anniversary show full of old, new 12-inch and 3 3/4-inch G.I. Joes, Star Wars superhero figures, marks, Migos, contests, cosplay, and much, much more. They are open from 10 to 4. It's $8 to get in. 15 gets you in for early bird at 9. Friday night preview is from 5 to 8 the night before. That cost you $30. But again, that's where all the deals happen. If you need more details, all the current news, all the guests, slide on over to kygijoe.com.
What?
Don't say what. You know this was coming.
Family show, Mike.
Just look. That's what it is.
The Addams Family, sure.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
KY.
I don't pay their hosting fees.
KY? Because they love you. Sure.
Cheapest big spender. Also, free parking and famous statue. Free parking, yes. Statue, I don't know.
Let's say Daniel Boone.
Sure.
Okay. How about Jim Cornette? Now we're talking.
Yeah. Still going with Daniel Boone.
All right. So Mark just sent me something in chat, and I would say go ahead and get that ready to go.
I'm with you. I'm just here to help.
All right. We got news breaking. I'm glad that Mark is helping out after 2 weeks of being a gold brick in Greece.
I figured right after you said no one really helps you very much, I should for the first time ever provide content, and I will.
Well, it's not the first time ever. It's just, man, I felt it when you were gone, man. That's for sure. That was all of my support structure.
Batman was like, "Where's Robin?"
Right. I just, hey, Lord knows, Racktime Rob is a shiftless layabout in regards to show prep. He's terrible.
I gotta figure getting
nobody
extra
asked,
help.
so
I gotta imagine getting extra help from Rob is probably hardest in the 2 weeks after school lets out. I pretty much figure he's got to be left alone for a little
never
while.
sober.
Well,
he's never sober.
That has nothing to do with summer break. I mean,
tanked up on Yoo-Hoo and A&W.
But we'll get to news, everybody. So be cool. We'll get there.
Maybe occasionally venturing out for a high C orange.
Oh, now we're talking.
Lava burst.
Lover. Wait, never mind.
That's it for community calendar. Kind of a light calendar week. Mark, go ahead. Go pick me a number between 1 and 8 again.
3.
Cobra's crazy weather patterns just swallow up my signals.
Shipless layout. Shipless layout.
we all recoil in horror with Scarlet there.
I like
remember,
how
if
that
you've got-
happens after there's a big picture of me waving. That's a
Right. If you've got a show, if you've really got any correspondence you want us to hear about, whatsonjoemind@gmail.com is the place to send it. That's where I can give you the best promise that we'll see it and be able to include it in the show. Please, by all means, subscribe to our other social media, but just know that sending us instant messages through those is a dicey prospect at best. Use the email if it's something you absolutely positively got to get on the program. whatsonjoemind@gmail.com.
I don't think there's a more terrifying short statement for Joe than 3-1 Recondo, right? Like that guy. That's like Mondo Recondo.
Mondo Recondo. Nice.
wow.
Anyhow, it's going to be the bulk of the discussion tonight. So what do you say we get to the news? All right. First news item.
Do.
I almost instinctively did that.
Yeah.
No. You're the backup to the backup, Rob.
And that, well, the last 2 weeks, I was the one doing
Yeah,
it.
the last couple
Right.
weeks, man, he was all I had. You think Troy McKee's going to do news sounds for me? No,
That's
no, he's
true.
not.
When Rob is gone, I'll answer all Batman questions.
Yes, that'll be fun.
And when Mike and Rob are gone, I'll answer the Spider-Man questions. And I'll just say, I don't know, one of them.
And frankly, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Same
one of them.
thing for Batman, pretty much, right? There's only like
Yeah.
890 Batman.
Yeah,
out
there are slightly fewer Batmen than there are Spider-Men. Slightly.
Yeah. But there's a Spider-Man who laughs.
They kind of all do.
Yeah.
I guess
That's his
fair.
whole appeal.
Guess that's fair.
The Batman who laughs. The superpowers figure I won't buy.
Let's get into that, why don't we? I'm not saying you're wrong, Rob. I'm just saying it's not the time.
No.
We'll get there. First news item.
In the Navy.
Right. Get yourself over to Kickstarter. Check out the Join the Navy campaign from our friends at Heavy Armor Toys. This thing's coming along pretty good. It's got a low goal, and it only needs $21,000 or $22,000. It's 2/3 of the way there. We got a ways to go yet. So make sure you go on over, check that out. All kinds of Navy-inspired figures, from sailors to flight deck to Seabees to SEALs, like you see in the photo there. Stretch goals for days. This one's going to go as far as we want to take it. And looks like a real great set of 3 3/4 O-ring toys, which are, as we know, all the rage.
Populate your flag.
Absolutely.
What?
For those of you that applies to. Or get yourself enough sailors, enough seamen,
Oh!
to where getting a flag is the only logical next step.
Right? You have so many seamen that you need to buy a $1,000 aircraft carrier.
Hey there. That's
Oh,
I got
my. We need
I
that
got-
Waylon Smithers line.
Dude,
I got four.
I'm a suck. Oh, wait.
Oh,
My
okay.
timing's off.
I got 400 of these seamen. So I need a flag.
Anytime there's a Navy SEAL figure that isn't a frogman, I'm totally down, right? Because we tend to lean very, very heavily on the SE part of SEAL, right? When they can do everything. That's why they're, Chuck Norris and camo. So
Right. But these there's some very nice homages in the selection here too. There's a stretch goal where that looks like Deep Six when he's in his Navy uniform, or wetsuit when he's in his camis, or so there's a lot of nice nods to the Joe team involved with this Kickstarter as well. So get over there, check this out. You want to search in the Navy. You do not want to search Heavy Armor Toys. Heavy Armor Toys won't pull this up for you, but if you type in the Navy, you're going to be right there. Check this one out. It funds through July 22nd at 11 p.m.
join your fellow man.
What are the stretch goals? A ship full of Muppet pigs dressed
What
as
did you say?
Vikings kidnapping Muppet chickens.
Nick Adams asks, I haven't checked these out. Do they have their names on their asses for extra realism?
I mean, I do, but
That's your underwear, Mark. That's different.
What happens in Rome stays in Rome, apparently.
There you go.
Right. Just that's keep it under your toga, man.
Right.
But yeah, ketchup and mustard are part of it. I think there's even a green guy for relish.
Yeah.
No sign if Duke Mayo Hellman is part of the team yet. We'll get there. Yeah, everybody
have great jelly.
Quit breaking news in the live chat. We're doing the news now.
Yeah.
Watch the news on the screen.
Yeah.
We all know the news. We've all seen it. You're not coming in and telling us anything we don't already know.
If you don't think we can pivot fast enough to update the news, just stay put.
Good God, man.
Yeah.
That's all we do here on Tuesdays. Clearly they're late because they didn't hear me bitching about that for 20 minutes before.
That's right.
I'm telling you. But next news item.
Do.
Still rolling along. It's Power Comics Super Joe Unlimited number 1. Kickstarter's live until July 12th. That is through July 11th. Yeah, so there too, cooking along at a pretty good clip. About 7,000 out of its $10,000 goal. Just keep spreading the word. Those numbers tend to grow slow when they're going at $10 a pop, but there's lots of neat extras you can get in the Super Joe Unlimited campaign as well. So be sure to check those out. Tune into our special edition 86, which we released last week. It's got all the details for you. That is myself and Racktime Rob and Brian Lower, Hooded Cobra Commander 788's with us. And we're talking to the man behind Power Comics himself, Austin Huff. He is a ball of energy. It's an entertaining watch. A great way to spend an hour, even if you're not interested in this. He's just a cool guy with stories to tell. But this is a great campaign, and I hope it makes out for him. I'm real interested to see what they do with Super Joe. Certainly one of the more ignored and neglected corners of G.I. Joe lore.
And as always, Austin 316 says, back my Kickstarter.
Guy's got way too much hair to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even in the stunning Steve Austin days, that's too much hair. He had that Gerber baby thing going.
The thinning blonde locks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wispy.
See,
the Hollywood blondes for now.
The Hollywood blondes, checks watch. Yeah, I guess so. ... I guess for now, still. Anyways. What's on Joe Mind Special Edition 86? Go watch. Next news item.
Do.
That's it?
Brevity.
All right. Hey, we had some reveals last week, and we would be remiss if we did not at least give them the official kiss. These are available everywhere that fine toys are sold, provided they're in stock. But Grunt, Lowlight, and the Snow Serpent were released. Grunt and Lowlight are normal releases in regards to size. They're about $25. The Snow Serpent's a deluxe. That picture does not do justice to all of the gear that he comes with, but he's got a lot more stuff, and he is a deluxe release. He's more like $35. So anywhere Amazon, Walmart, Target, Hasbro Pulse, whatever.
They are all general release.
Yes, everybody's got these, so there should be no real problem getting a hold of them. What do you think of these guys, Mark Weber? You've been gone for a couple weeks.
I mean, Lowlight's pretty much perfect unless you sculpt a buckle right where the brutal chest cut goes vertically. So it's half on one side and half on the other. But that is the tiniest of nitpicks. Lowlight's incredible. I'm sure Joe Colton is over the moon. Grunt, I dig it. I like that they aren't all the 82 guys don't look like they're from 82. So I like that Grunt looks a little more modern military. I think that's fine. Snow Serpent, now you have to catch me up because I haven't been following it that closely. I know I've seen images of him where some of his gear is blue and some of it isn't. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And the ones with the blue, it desperately needs that color in there. Not only that it's accurate to the original, but for a figure that's pretty much gray, black, and white, dying for a little bit of color. So the blue looks fabulous. I know there's a decent amount of people online who believe, hey, we could have done him without a snowboard, without a wolf hat, and maybe he could have been just a regular priced release. I think the value's there at 35, but I think you should be careful when you're making troop builders deluxe figures.
I mean, I'll take a deluxe troop builder over an Amazon only troop builder, which was the problem from the previous week with the Cobra eel.
Yeah, and I don't have any eels because I wasn't right on top of that. I was on a boat, so wouldn't mind getting some eels. But by and large, I don't get too worked up about it when I miss something, because very little in classified has actually been difficult to get in the long game, right? And
Yeah.
that's a credit to Hasbro for when they have short issued stuff. They usually have found a way to make it available, either slightly tweaked as a second release or as a straight rerun. So
right, I like how they got the Snow Serpent. You can do version 1 if that's what you want to do, or you can do the Valor versus Venom Spy Troops era 1 if that's what you want to do instead. I just like they covered all the bases there.
Yeah.
I mean, there too, I'm not thrilled about having to pay an extra $10 a head, but Snow Serpents aren't a figure that I'm going to get 20 of anyway.
Yeah.
I'm only at most I'm getting 3 or 4, so I'm not that concerned about it.
Yeah, as long as we get the blue on the accessories, I really don't have a problem with Snow Serpent at all.
Yeah, most of them that I've seen, I think it's just bad photo quality, or I think most of them it's a dark blue, and it kind of looks gray based on what else is in the photo.
Oh, is this like that dress? Is this like that dress thing? Is it blue and gold, or is it? Get out of here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like that. I think it's supposed to be blue. I think it'll be blue in our hands.
Okay.
But
yeah, these are wins. These are really, really good. Good job.
Grunt is unbelievably strong for what I was expecting out of that figure. Mm-hmm. The fact that they gave him the bonus head and the extra gun, and you can outfit them different ways and make them good stuff.
Yep. Aside from that buckle on Lowlight that you can't ever not see again, these are all wins.
The best part of Lowlight is they got rid of that bullet that they gave him in Pursuit of Cobra.
But it would have been 50% bigger, Mike.
I'm just saying that they pre-lost bullet.
Yeah, fair enough.
So good on them. We know, Phil. We know. Everybody's trying to break news in the live chat. We know the news already. That's what we're doing. The news now. Everybody chill out.
We're in the news segment.
Well, chill out there. Mark's got it fired up. It's ready to go when Mark, but part of it's coming. We haven't gotten there yet. Everybody relax.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Goodness. Next news item.
Boom.
Hey, it's time to check in on the Hasbro Pulse HasLab Classified Dragonfly. Remember, it's funding through July 17th at midnight. $274.99 expected delivery summer of 2024. Doing just fine. We've got the same old screen going up here. We're just past 14,000. So Night Force Ripcord has unlocked in the past week, which means that next up is Glenda. That's the 16,000 unit plateau. And it looks like we'll be there before the end of the live campaign. Mark Weber, some ruffles through the community when Glenda was revealed. How do you feel about Glenda?
I mean, she doesn't do anything for me particularly as a character, as an ad. Like, okay, whatever. But you got to be careful who you're making the second and third stretch goal figures, right, on a HasLab item. You don't want to do somebody that breaks, because not everybody. Even though I think my initial reaction to the Dragonfly was, wow, that's pretty reasonable from a price perspective, right? I expected it to cost a lot more. So the idea that you can get it for $275 and you're getting two $25 figures with it, assuming Glenda gets unlocked, I think it's pretty screen.
Hang on a second, Mark.
So
Hang on a second.
What I
Hang
like
on a
about
second.
it is what a lot of people liked about it. Is that me?
Got some lag in there, Mark. Give it a second.
I'm back.
Yes, there you go.
What I liked about it is what a lot of people liked is what it probably means for the future, right? Here's your G1 Scarlet mold. That's cool. Because there's a lot of stuff off on that original Scarlet release. Love to see a new Scarlet that's retro. That's great. And I immediately thought of you when she's got Flash's backpack and laser like the original Glenda did. But there it is, already tooled up. So that's got to mean Flash and then probably Grand Slam down the line. So that's cool too. So I like how they're using parts here for upcoming stuff that I'm really excited about. And Glenda doesn't do much for me. I get that she's a helicopter pilot, but you probably don't need two pilots in there. But if you want to do Glenda, not Wild Bill, that's on you. Whatever. This is fine. And it's a portent of really good things to come. So I'm totally down.
Right. It checks all of my boxes as a stretch goal. In that it's an obscure character that you're not going to get otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, the parts that are used here signify better things for classified going forward in 24 and 25. So good news there. But I mean, the folks were very upset that this was not a bigger character.
Right.
And I'm going to call that into question again, because I have a feeling these would be the same people that would be upset if Airborne or Doc or Tripwire or Hawk were put behind a $275 paywall. Like this is exactly what you want in a stretch goal in a crowdfunding project. This is the sort of thing. This is what you're getting here. It's either it's generally speaking, it's obscurity or it's a repaint, or in this case, it's both. But it does the job. It stretches out the ranks a little bit. It's a good fit for a stretch goal in a HasLab.
Yep, I totally get it. I agree with everything you just said.
Hey, Benjamin Kitt says, I know nothing about Glenda. There's not much to know about Glenda. She was released in Argentina, and there's not a whole lot of lore connected to her. But I think the figure looks great, and I'm all in anyway. Lesser known characters don't bother me. I'm a return fan from 28 years ago, so a lot of it is new to me again. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right. Josiah Alcorn. Toy collectors that are going to complain either way? No way.
Right.
Right. Just everybody. Bring it. Just exhale, everyone. Exhale. This is why we're not a bigger deal. We believe in moderate, level-headed discussion as opposed to, cheap clicks and, diving
flying off at the handle. Ah. Now,
Rachel Selena says, make Blades the next unlock, so I have to buy 3 Dragonflies.
That's the spirit. And Blades would be a Tripwire repaint.
Yep. Oh, that's a good idea.
Hey,
that's
a new. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, just public announcement. My mouse has totally frozen, which is no problem normally on the show, except I have the images that we want to show later on. So if you see me looking down like this and going, what the hell? That's exactly what's going on. I'm doing mouse surgery. Deal with that.
But Sam Hoffsummer, that's a new name. Welcome to the show. Appreciate having you. They could have put in variants of main figures. Glenda's really lackluster. I don't know how much more of a main figure you need than Scarlet.
That's basically a variant of Scarlet.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one, Sam.
It is a variant of a main figure. You're just getting it first, right?
Yeah.
We did this all the time on Transformers, where we made a new Seekers sculpt and made it Thundercracker on the original release, even though we know Starscream is the guy, right? Fine, but if we do Starscream first, then Thundercracker is the generally expected follow-up, right? Sometimes you start with the lesser known version that the parts are going to make for the A-lister later on.
People would be happy with like just Starscream because he's the biggest character. You do Thundercracker first, they'll buy that. Then they'll get Starscream, and then you gotta have to buy the third one because now you don't have the complete set. Then
The third one's my favorite, Skywarp. Yeah, but that's the whole deal. Now Thundercracker is extra cool because, hey, cool, new mold, right? New sculpt, new toy. And then you're happy to get Starscream because he's the man, right? Of the Seekers anyway. Instead of doing Starscream, wow, awesome. And then, Thundercracker. Yeah, he's just the Starscream repaint, right? It's toy 101 or 102 maybe. Maybe 201. I don't know.
Yeah, Acid Storm came out of nowhere, just a green jet and a panel of a comic book. Actually, he was originally one of the background guys in the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
Matthew Madsen, HasLabs are for things we couldn't get any other way. Exactly. Well put, sir.
Yep. Yeah, my mouse is fried. That's not good news.
That would be there would be an absolute firestorm going down if we were stuck looking at Airborne as a stretch goal at 19,000 units or 16,000 units or whatever.
And the people who wanted Airborne as a stretch goal, because you got to have Airborne in that copter sooner or later if you're an old school guy, and that's all we are really. Once they announced today that you're probably getting that, then
hey, we'll get there, man. Chill out.
I didn't.
You just relax
it all out, but the Glenda rage, I hope, settles a little bit, right?
Bart says Batman podcast ran over. What did I miss?
Right.
Two other guys making the same joke.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway.
Hey, that's okay. We love our running gags.
That's right.
Technically, he's Bartman, right?
Yeah, sure.
See what I did there?
Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with running gags on What's on Joe Mind. It's frankly, it's how we're still here after 12 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. I might be able to get this mouse back, but not without rebooting. So that's the question. If you can do without me for a couple minutes.
Torpedo Mike asks, Silvery Grand Slam? Maybe. I think Silvery Grand Slam is the one that's more likely to be a main release with a jump pack.
Yeah.
I think if there was going to be a Grand Slam, that was the weird variant, that it's going to be the original one. But I don't think he's coming here either way. So
you're obviously getting a Flash because of that backpack.
Yeah.
So a Grand Slam without the HAL is going to look crazy derivative, right?
Yeah.
So Silver Pads Grand Slam, 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
Mike, there's a comment from Jake Rose we need to put up.
Stuck on the 405
because the 405 is jammed.
Yeah, it's no surprise.
All the way back to Lodi.
Yeah,
jammed like my mouse.
So, Mark, if you need to do that, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, let me pop out. I'll be right back. How's that? All right.
We'll keep an eye on you. Keep an eye out for you, and then when you show up, I'll leave you in the green room for a while.
Here I go.
I'll
be right back. Hey, listen to this.
All right.
All right.
Just down to us, Rack Time Rob.
I know. And nobody likes that.
No. No. I mean, our time spent in high school was proof of that.
Yeah.
But what do you say? Next news item, backup of backup. Hey, look at that. It's time for the G.I. Joe brand team roundtable recap.
Hey, thanks for inviting us.
Right. We went all that time to get on the list, and then they do a second one, and we don't get an invitation. So I think it says more about them than it does about us, because either at this point it's either incompetence or actively trying to exclude us. And either way, it's not a good look. So thanks for that, everybody at Hasbro. Good job. Way to go, guys. Glad we've been out here carrying the brand for you for 12 years. But Yorktown Joe, he likes he enjoyed hearing you on the Joe on Joe podcast. And you'll enjoy hearing him again tomorrow for part 2. Because frankly,
I was chatty.
From a comic book standpoint, Joe Slepsky and Rob are essentially 2 halves of the same brain. Torpedo Mike asks, "Is this where Mike and Rob sing soft hits of the '70s?" No,
Only if
this
we want
is
to get
where
banned in Russia.
this is where I sing soft hits of the '70s. Andrew Goggin probably has it right. How about incompetently ignoring what's on Joe Mind? Probably.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, it would bother me more, but it's more about them than it is about us. We appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out with us and keeping this thing afloat as long as you have. But anyways, let's get to this. Airborne, first bit here. Airborne will not be a part of the HasLab Dragonfly as the last unlock and will be a part of the mainline G.I. Joe classified action figure line. Where'd we hear that before? Oh, right, it was us.
Yeah, it's almost like, common sense took over.
It's almost like we've been telling you that for weeks and everybody needed to relax. Weird. Anyways, next point is kind of an exciting one. The Hasbro Pulse exclusive Hiss 788 Fire Team is coming. That is related to the last year's HasLab Hiss project. Don't know a whole lot else about it, but keep an eye out for those. Hopefully, it's going to be a nice 2 or 3 figure set there.
Is it the 2 or 3 figures we're getting already from the HasLab?
Right. It was a big duh about Airborne. Absolutely correct.
You would think that, but you cannot believe the number of people online who keep going, well, if there's no Airborne, my God.
Right.
Airborne's going to be a mainline figure. If Airborne was going to be in it, it was going to be like Night Force Airborne or something. Tiger Force Airborne.
Right. We're at a point where there's a short list of popular characters from both comics and cartoons that haven't been done yet. And Airborne is at the top of it, right? Like it's him and Mutt and Alpine and Doc and yeah. That's about.
And they've announced Mutt.
Right. But yes. Andrew Galgan asks, will the 788 team be the figures that didn't make it in the HasLab poll? If only the ghost of Purple Hiss Driver did not get in there. That would be incredible, and I'd buy a dozen. But unfortunately, we don't know. It could be. We just don't know.
Maybe.
But new pre-orders are confirmed for tomorrow, along with a special guest host.
Which is which must means that they must be posting a video because they do have a live stream tomorrow, but it's Indiana Jones.
For Indiana Jones, yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be another 7 or 8 minute thing like the last couple weeks. But special guest host, which means Sergeant Slaughter is free.
Woo-hoo.
No, come on now. If it was Sergeant Slaughter, we're at the point where they would just say it was Sergeant Slaughter. Mark's back.
Yeah.
All right.
Mouse wrangled.
All right, excellent.
Sound a little better too.
San Diego Comic-Con 2023 will have a very important G.I. Joe panel with new digital renders. Well, of course, you kind of figured that.
But no exclusive, apparently.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if anything was said about that.
No, I would just include that in there if I was going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. What do I know? What do I know about roundtables? Ain't never been to one.
I mean, I got to go to one last year.
Next bit is the one that has a lot of folks upset. The G.I. Joe O-ring line is on hold until further notice. Now, they've been telling us it's been on hold for a while. About a year, in fact. But that until further notice is a little ominous. I'm gonna side with the mob a little bit on that part of it, in that until further notice is different. That is not until the end of 2023, as we had been told previously. That is open-ended.
Yeah.
So
if they don't mention it by the end of San Diego Comic-Con at that panel, if there's no update, done.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're about to see the last bits of the O-ring line, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh,
but HasLab Hiss is still scheduled for a fall shipment. Okay. A hand-painted HasLab Dragonfly sample was shown off for the first time, looked almost identical to the renders. Stay tuned for official diorama images. All this info, this is straight off of Hisstack, everybody. I maybe reworked the grammar, but it's all their info, so credit there for what you're getting on this rundown. Because, again, we weren't invited.
Lost in the mail, I'm sure, right? The invitation.
Right. It's Chad notes. Until further notice is what they said about the Walmart retro line, too. Yes, it's we're still waiting on wave 2 of the Centurions. Anyways.
But that's not that surprising because, I mean, they had kind of said that last year.
Yeah.
And the Walmart exclusives seem to be Night Forcey.
Yeah. It's a little different. I think Walmart exclusives are back, but that retro line on the card, which was intermittently popular and not, like the female figures tended to sit a little bit. You can still probably find a Lady J in a lot of Walmarts, but Destro was popular, Snake Eyes was popular, et cetera, et cetera. So I can see how there was some heat there, and folks wanted to see more figures in that type of packaging. The new Walmart exclusives are not along those lines, so it's kind of a different animal. But also,
a lot of Lady J and Gung Ho on the Walmart peg out here in Bend, Oregon. So if anybody needs one, let me know.
We got a lot of Lady J and Baroness.
Yeah. Okay. Out here at Target, you know what they got?
You don't know.
I don't know. Who knows? Same stinking Target.
Although around here, I have seen a fair share. I did see a fair share of Gung Ho and Destro. Never saw Zartan or Storm Shadow. So, but that doesn't mean that we won't, because distribution's weird, especially with Walmart.
But G.I. Joe brand team is looking for feedback on creating new, never-seen vehicles for the classified line. Be careful what you wish for. Next news, or next bit, was that Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender are no longer available for reproduction, and by that they mean that the way that we've seen them to this point, the figures that came with the Air Chariot and the Dr. Mindbender set, they can't make those in that same exact deco again.
Well, not can't, but won't.
Right, or not likely to.
Yeah, which is fine.
Right. And but the G.I. Joe team would like to hear feedback on the repaints and or redesigns of these two figures that fans would like to see in the future. Okay. I'm not sure that there's that many popular redesigns of either of those guys. Maybe that 2000s, that early 2001 Serpentor, maybe with the darker color scheme, perhaps.
Yeah, the Night Force Serpentor.
Right. Maybe the popular gold armor Serpentor from, with the more pronounced, like the red Serpentor that Phil and Patrick covered on Articulated Points, something like that. But anyway.
I got an idea. I got a really good idea for repaints and redesigns of those two figures. We'd like to see new characters.
I want to see Dr. Mindbender with "I'm with Stupid" t-shirt.
Does anybody else find it ironic that they're looking for feedback on new, never seen before vehicles for classified when they've only made two vehicles? I mean, of any size vehicles, right?
Yeah,
there are all sorts of hits that they could play in an appropriate scale that people would do a backflip for. But a new character, which would be nothing, wouldn't do anything. It would not be hard to make a new character.
I have a feeling that it's going to be the Arctic Coil Cycle.
Oh, yeah, right. Comes with Comes with Akira, which seems weird, but kind of works.
Right. Anyways, we're not real high on the folks at Hasbro. That's not to say the G.I. Joe brand team, they're not responsible for that. But yeah, we've got some beef with Hasbro tonight. Anyways,
I love
We're
Lenny.
salty.
Lenny's great. We're
Yeah,
lucky
again,
to
this-
have Lenny on the brand.
he-
But I
we're-
don't think he's making the decisions on fully making the decisions on what characters are getting made.
Right. G.I. Joe brand team is currently working on the 2025 lineup of classified products. They are world building and going to expand the line even further. Good.
Okay.
I'm just saying Flash better be involved, especially now that we've got a laser rifle. It better happen. I don't want to hear that we didn't. I don't want to hear that we didn't get to him business.
And if you don't speak marketing, that just means we're doing more.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The brand team really likes the retro carded G.I. Joe classified figures, looking for a way that make that available to a wider audience if possible in the future, which is to say looking for
Not store exclusive.
yeah,
Mhm.
just trying to sell that to as to more than one outlet, or maybe Amazon, or maybe Big Bad, I don't know, but whatever. Yeah, it's so. I don't want to dismiss this as not a lot of news, because it's a lot of news for a random Tuesday. But except for Airborne, there's not a ton of news here. There's not a lot of substance to this.
This is like this is the appetizer platter, right?
Yeah,
Really wasn't any entree.
right. Like as we were saying when you were out, Mark. I mean, the biggest news for us is that we didn't even get an email that this was happening. So thanks for that, everybody.
And that's not news so much
Right.
as
Right. Again, we're your favorite G.I. Joe podcast, and we make them nervous for some reason. I can't imagine why, but again, it's a big thank you for carrying the banner for 12 years. Oh wait, it's not a thank you at all. It's more of a screw you.
I'm not saying it's me, because that'd be pretty self-centered of me to do it. But if it is me that they don't want a former employee grilling current employees, I get that. But it wouldn't be me. We would never send me to cover the round table.
I did the one round table they did invite us to.
Right, which
Yeah.
was the result of months of searching for the right person to contact.
I think we should contact that person tomorrow. If they're still there.
If they're still there.
Right. That first, that's one question. Secondly, I just wonder if it's even worth it. Frankly, if that's how it's going to be, I'm not fighting this fight every time. So whatever.
I'll fight forever.
Right.
Come on.
My fighting is more in a different direction. We broke your lineup once, and if we get the chance, we'll do it again.
Yes, we will.
We had such a good relationship with Hasbro for so long. I hate seeing it getting tossed to the side by somebody in their marketing department way back in the back office. But if that's how it's going to be, it's how it's going to be.
We didn't do anything wrong. Other than all we did, we tell it like it is, Gorilla.
Right. I mean, we even sent the likable one. We sent Racktime Rob.
Yeah.
He's the number one favorite host of the show. So, as we said when Chad had his anniversary show, congratulations. I was on that program. You got the 4th most popular host of What's on Joe Mind, and I think there's some truth to that. But Hasbro seems to not like Joe podcasters and channels. They just like generic toy types, unless you have a Transformers show. Then they like you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
There's some other folks in that round table that only do G.I. Joe and related. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. But Jay Toygo, just go ask if they like Snake Eyes and you'll be good. Go and treat it like the old Chris Farley show on Saturday Night Live. Hey, remember
that
back
comic
in
where Snake Eyes didn't
1984?
talk? That was awesome.
when you guys
Yeah,
put out a Rattler? That was
We're
awesome.
less Chris Farley and more Vinny Vidici.
Which is going to make the Transformer questions very interesting.
Anyways, if they don't want to give us O-rings, we have other companies that are going to give us lots of O-rings and lots of semen. So it's that's going to be the exact instant that Mark's mom walks in the room too, right?
No. Right. I thought
and Nola Weber pops up on screen, and I'm down in the microphone going, semen.
No, I'm pretty sure I can hear Bartleby Jones or something playing out front. So Barnaby Jones, right? Yeah.
Barnaby Jones.
Quincy.
Yeah. Murder She Wrote or something is going on out there, really loud. So.
Right. Well, that's the rule, right?
Of course, you're talking to two guys who sat through a vintage 1981 episode of Magnum PI today. So
Oh, there you go. I can't wait till I'm the age that I can sit down and turn the TV's volume up to 84.
Look, that was a 1981 episode of Magnum PI that had Aaron Gray on it. So you're fucking right. We said.
Oh, dude.
You're goddamn straight. We sat through it.
Holy smokes.
Anyways. That's the round table discussion there. And just a reminder, of course, that Chunky Tank Kitty is brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. Chunky Tank Kitty and his Meowler tank were the hit of Joe Fest, selling out in mere minutes.
I'm sure.
At the Mark II design booth on the sales floor there.
Were there any fights?
Maybe. We don't know how many of them Hans Chow tried to make off with.
Right.
So if like Hans Chow buys 20 of them, I don't know how who's fighting about stuff. So anyways, but remember to tune into them, ask them questions about hey, how can we get more Chonky Tank Kitties? Joe Fan 84 says, thanks to Beta Ray Bob, I got a Chonky Tank Kitty. Well, that's all right then. That explains. That's why you're saying hey to Beta Ray Bob. Beta Ray Bob has given you the greatest gift another man can give. Chunky Tank Kitty in plastic form.
Yeah, it means he's got one more than I do. Come on.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Rack Time Rob's fault. We'll tell you about that later.
What?
But Jay Toygo, I missed out on Chunky Tank Kitty at Joe Fett. We're sorry, man. We're gonna keep you on top of any potential Chunky Tank Kitty news that are coming.
Yeah, they can't make any more. But stay tuned for Tiger Force Chunky Tank Kitty.
Josiah Alcorn notes that Aaron Gray was supposed to get a spin-off from that episode of Magnum PI.
Really?
Well, that I'd have been tuned in there. But apparently the Silver Spoons money was too big. Maybe Silver Spoons was that spin-off.
Somehow I doubt it.
She was there as a Secret Service type there to protect Ricky Schroeder. Jeff Butler, sadly, despite my hope, there were 0 Chunky Tank Kitties at the Joe Show in Grapevine, Texas last week. We're sorry, Jeff. We told you. We warned you about that one.
But there was a Ron Rudat and a Great Childs.
Right.
He's
Firefly asked, what about Tonky Chank Kitty?
Oh.
And that's a good question. I think those were the repaint ones with the visor that people didn't like as much.
I found a Chunky Greek kitty at the top of the Parthenon in Athens.
Maybe that's our boy right there. Maybe that's it.
Slinging thunderbolt-shaped hairballs.
That's where he retired, apparently. Top of the world.
Zeus did like to transform into many different types of animals.
Yeah, he was kind of an alley cat, as I recall.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll be right back to take questions from you, the audience, right after a word from our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys. And remember, anytime you're, say, passing through the central Indiana area, that's worth a trip right there. Stop in, say hey to Todd and Amber, give Todd a hug, tell him What's on Joe Mind sent you, and he will probably end his sponsorship with us right there. But
more donuts.
nah, Todd's a hugger. Don't let him fool you. Go ahead and hug Todd. He loves it.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
There we go.
Oh, wait a minute.
What's
Yeah,
that?
we gotta get pictures of something else.
I didn't just reboot for my own health.
Well, I mean, give me a window to put it up in there, man.
I'm off. I thought I was just going to share my screen. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, but I can't. If you were willing to do that, I'd be able to see that right now. So you got to do something else.
Right, hang on. Well, it's going to be fabulous.
Yorktown Joe says Magnum's pilot friend TC might be the third tier unlock. There's your crossover surprise. Look, you give me
I'd be all over that.
right. You give me a classified Roger E. Mosley. Yes, I'm buying a second Dragonfly. Is what I'm doing. I'll sell off the rest of that useless crap.
I mean that character was in the Navy with Magnum and Rick. So,
Oh,
well, wasn't Rick a Marine?
yeah, but
whenever
he
they
had
have flashbacks, it looks like they're in like the same unit. So I don't think so.
Rick was wearing an army.
I think they were
cap,
SEALs,
so
to be honest.
he might have been a Marine.
Anyways, here's from our friend Travis Moody. This is
Yeah.
what we're looking at here. This is the Soundwave Thunder Machine. You can see it with Ravage and Xandar and Zorana. This was rumored months ago, and we dismissed it because we're dumb. But there it is. And,
Unlike
Ravage.
a lot of them, that's actually a decent looking robot.
Yeah, I like that Soundwave has a knife now. He's gonna go stab him somebody, but okay. But yeah, that's a pretty good Soundwave.
Yeah. It doesn't look like Soundwave with a Thunder Machine glued to his back.
right.
I don't know
Well,
about Blue Ravage, but whatever.
now, in fairness, we can't see his back, so we're not sure about that.
Yeah.
Oh, but stay tuned. But wait, there's more. If I flip this, does it change? It's hard for me to tell.
It
Yes.
changed. We got the box.
Okay, good. So they
And those are O-ring figures.
all wanted a Soundwave Dreadnought Thunder Machine.
And is it just Zartan and Zorana?
And yep,
That's a pretty good
Apparently.
Thunder Machine.
That's a decent Thunder Machine.
yeah. Not bad at all. And then there's a
Haha.
little bit on the back, but that's not
A
terrible.
little bit, but yeah, like I said, it's nowhere near as as egregious as Megatron.
Check out Zorana's badass bicep tattoo.
Oh, it looks like they
That's
went
new.
original design.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely looks different.
She's got
so there might be
mesh gloves, I think.
there might be some
Kinda.
new parts with Zorana there, but that is definitely a new arm. Rachel Salinas with the hit of the day there. O-rings are on hold. Announces two O-rings.
Right. I think my
Good
favorite
point.
is Zorana's firing the machine gun cannon, I think, and Zardan's just sticking his face right into that turbine. So he put on mask for a little safety, a little coverage.
For protection, yes.
Yep.
But that's pretty cool, really. I'm not huge on these Transformer crossover ones, but in their defense, I don't think Megatron was great, but I think Bumblebee was done pretty well.
Bumblebee was better,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think this looks more like Bumblebee in that it's looks pretty cool. Like for what it is, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I'm probably not spending the money on it, but it's a good buy. It's a good toy.
Yeah.
Benjamin
There we
Pitt
go.
says Soundwave is my favorite Decepticon. I've bought each crossover so far. He is sold. This came way later in the day than the round table. Is this further notice?
Maybe.
I'm going to guess so.
Perhaps.
I like the last Soundwave crossover they did because when I say they, I mean me. Yeah. It was going to come with only one cannon. Soundwave only uses one cannon. I'm like, the original came with two. And if you don't put two in there, you're going to have a dumb looking HISS tank turret. No, we don't need it.
Ugh.
Matt Rubin says, I may get this just because I never had a Thunder machine and I want one. And this may be a less expensive way for you to get one.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
that's not a bad plan.
Yeah. Although I remember getting Mike a pretty decent Thunder machine for a good price at Kokomo Toys.
At Kokomo Toys, but that was already a few years back now.
Yeah.
So good luck with that one. But I have a feeling that'll be more than compatible with your current Dreadnought stash if you got a bunch of 4-inchers at home that need a place to ride. I wonder if were there foot pegs on that thing, Mark?
Let's take a look. Yeah, 3 on each side. Or 4 on each side.
All right.
All right. Viper
So on the
Scout says
box
definitely.
art-
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, on the box art, Zartan is riding on one of the pegged side panels. So
Viper Scout says definitely getting this. Looks great. I'm in the minority that really likes the Megatron Hiss. It's a good-looking Hiss tank. I don't like Megatron necessarily. He's a little kidly. Benjamin Kitt was at Kokomo Toys.
Ah, Kokomo Toys.
Almost got himself a Thunder machine, but was holding out hope they do this Soundwave. Yeah, it's this is one that really there was not a lot to go on rumor wise, and here it is coming through. So you never know. It just goes to show. Thunder Machine Soundwave is in. Chuckles movie script is out. For now. Maybe it'll be back. It's been making the rounds for what, Mark? 10 years? 12 years?
pretty much, right? There was an article today about how the CEO of Mattel flew to London to dispute a scene they were gonna shoot for the Barbie movie because he thought it was off brand, and so he flew out there and they said, "Well, watch it. We'll run through it, and I think you'll like it better." And I thought, that's what I put up on Facebook today, was this is how you should control a brand when you're licensing it out to Hollywood, right?
Right.
You should be that much in control of it, and you don't see it that often.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and particularly if you're Mattel and it's that brand. I mean,
Right.
that's Mattel. You
It's
know,
kind of a
like,
lifeblood, at this point.
I get it, but you should be that protective of every brand. At
Yeah.
least anyone big enough to get a Hollywood movie.
Right. Anyways, if you're catching us for the first time, welcome to the program. We appreciate you. Be sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all those cool YouTube things. Share us in your various social media circles. Leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. You can see all of our social media down in the description below, as well as our coffee links. We've got our Dirty Dozen subscribers. You'll see their names at the end during the credits. That's how you can get there. They are our swear jarriers. You can support us either through our link or the one through Joe Colton Cosplay. If you're catching us on replay, we appreciate you too. Make sure you do all that cool YouTube stuff as well. If you're watching us on Facebook, be sure to leave us a thumbs up or little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy. That's what pushes all the metrics around on Facebook. And lastly, if you're catching us on audio, go ahead, leave us a review. Give us a nice 5-star review. We need some reviews to get us rolling through those circles again. It's weird, 12 years down the road, we still pick up subscribers on the old Podbean channel. So right there, we know the word's still getting out there. We appreciate all of you doing that job for us. This channel is going to get as big as you let it. Because, Lord knows social media anymore. As soon as you start building a presence, they'll take all of your subscribers and put them behind a paywall. So it's really up to the folks who are already behind that paywall to get the word out. And we appreciate each and every one of you. And every little click you do, just please keep those clicks coming. Especially a little thumbs up guy. That's right there. It's easy. But
Hey,
Cornelius
when we
McGillicuddy.
stole-
Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, as I pop in, when we stole those images from Travis Moody in a Toy Kind of Mood, and then we gave him credit for it, is that how we're supposed to do it?
I think so.
When you're a Joe podcast and you have info from somebody else.
I think so. I'm going to, however, on the replay, I'm going to have to cut you out of this part right now.
I guess that's
I'm gonna
fair.
have to just snip you right out.
Whatever.
Cornelius McGillicuddy's got our first fan question of the night. You guys think that next year's HasLab should be a playset? Example, the Cobra Missile Command Headquarters with set pieces, a missile, and the hydraulic lift. No. And just for I not that I don't think it should, because I think that would be pretty cool and to be something that hasn't really been done before. Like cardboard Cobra Command Center doesn't really count. But it would be neat if they did it for real. So I'd be on board with it. But we know their feeling about playsets, right? Whether they're feeding us a line or it's the God's honest truth, they just don't seem to be willing to invest in playsets right now. So rather than fight that fight, I'll take a cool vehicle. Whatever. I'm not going to get hung up on it. I don't think Classified's going to run long enough to run the entire gamut. So I'd rather they play the biggest. If we're going to go down the row of making the deluxe super version of all the great vehicles, then let's do a super deluxe great definitive version of a great vehicle.
I do think though that original headquarters is feasible because it's mainly hollow and there's a lot of empty space in it. So, and that's the best one. I mean, let's be honest, right? Even though the Terradrome's great, but it was, twice the price. But that original headquarters is one of the best play sets of all time.
Well, that was directed more towards the. Sorry, Mark. That was directed more about the Cobra Missile Command, like the Sears exclusive thing, the cardboard one. But I mean, it would be gigantic. Is the only drawback I think to
it'd be a big
83 headquarters. It'd be monstrous.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that big to pack up and ship, right? Because you could stack almost all the pieces. I just think I wouldn't dismiss the possibility for it.
Yeah, I mean, in theory.
But you need a pump and a Mobat first to load it up in the base. So no rush.
Right.
But when people throw out the big stuff, they should do a whale, they should do the flag. It's like, no, probably not. But this one, I think there's a glimmer of hope for that headquarters. We'll see.
Jay Toygo notes next year's HasLab should be a classified Cobra Rattler with Wild Weasel and Pilot Baroness, plus a red mask Cobra infantry rear gunner. That'd be cool. I'm not going to shoot down that idea as being quality. It's a good idea. I question, and as we have each of the previous 2 years, as they have proven us wrong both of those years. Let me throw that out there too. But what my constraints are, that's entirely too big. They'll never do that. Tend to be proven wrong.
Right.
But I don't know how much bigger than the Dragonfly this line can feasibly go.
Yeah.
I'm starting to question it there. Like there's a lot of Joe collectors out there, and there's a lot of space dedicated to G.I. Joe, but I don't think there's nearly so many of us that have like a G.I. Joe room as there are, say, Star Wars guys that have places to put sail barges.
Yeah.
So I think that's a line that we don't exactly know where it is, and maybe they're afraid to tread, and maybe that's not a bad idea. Sir James asks, so what are the odds the Triple T rumor is true now too? Do you remember this one, Mark? I don't.
No, not particularly.
Rob, you remember this one?
I think around the same time this Soundwave thing, there's some people saying, no, it's going to be Sergeant Slaughter and a Triple T Transformer.
Okay.
But I don't know that they ever said who the Transformer was.
Who would that be? Who would a Triple T transform into?
I don't
know. I mean, the color, it's funny because I was trying to think, well, who's a kind of grayish white Autobot that could work with? But Megatron's all silver, and he came out of a jet black HISS tank.
Yeah,
Bumblebee's
Bumblebee's an
straight
Ostriker.
friggin'
so it doesn't-
yellow and came out of a green Ostriker. So
You know, I think personality-wise, who would work best as a Triple T? Braun.
I was
Yeah,
thinking the
Braun.
same thing.
That would be
Or-
fantastic.
feasibly Ironhide, same kind of tough,
Yeah.
whatever. But
He's a little small, though. The
Ironhide?
Triple T's. Well, that's what I'm saying.
The
The Triple T's a little small.
for the Ironhide.
Whereas
Oh,
that
to be
that
Ironhide.
works. That works with Braun. That doesn't work with Ironhide.
Yeah.
Um,
And Braun would actually be a pretty good army vehicle since he's all
Right.
green anyway, right? Wouldn't take much.
Scott says, I still have my Zartan, but sadly no
Mhm.
top and no leg pad. I have the leg pads to mine. His waist piece is not in good shape. He's got some man issues, if you will. So my Zartan is not in good shape.
Zartan with no top just looks like a stripper. It's not a good look.
And not one of the high quality Friday night strippers either. No, he's
No,
a Tuesday afternoon stripper.
Yeah. He's a lunch special at the Shake It Till You Can't Take It club. Yeah.
He works at the one out by the airport.
And not the good airport.
No, he works out by Newark.
Mhm.
Todd Smith says, I think the Transformer collabs are great if they get us O-rings and great vehicles. It seems to be the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Jeff Butler, with alternating Decepticons and Autobot releases, maybe the next one would be Sergeant Slaughter and Autobot related, Optimus or Ironhide. Well, I mean, way to ask the question after we give an answer, Jeff Butler. Good job. Yeah. Actually, he probably put that up. He probably put that up before we talked about it.
Yeah, it's been up there for a while.
Believe it's going to be Rolling Thunder Ultra Magnus. Deal with that.
There you go.
Yikes.
They actually had a mock-up of a Rolling Thunder that turns into Optimus years ago. I don't know if that was public knowledge or not. Maybe I'm breaking sports news, but it was cool. Let me tell you.
Scott says, I listen to podcasts while walking on the beach. I need to find your podcast. Hey, we're there. I mean, Podbean is our home, but you can get us through Spotify, through Apple, wherever you get podcasts most of the time. You can find What's on Joe Mind, and the whole library is on it. If you're on Podbean anyway, or on Apple, I know the whole library is there, going back to 2009. So you can go back. You can hear episodes that none of us are on. That's how old the show is.
Yeah.
Dave McDonald, welcome to the show, sir. Asks, has Mark found some new random Joe parts back at his old home?
I haven't, but my mom, who's a saint, once in a while when she would come out to Rhode Island, would bring like a little Ziploc bag of stuff. And here you go. And I keenly remember an original, year one Grunt M16 in there
Nice.
one time, but broken off right where the barrel comes out. So it was a snub-nosed M16, which
Right.
is illegal by the Geneva Convention. So, but yeah, if she finds stuff, she brings it out. She knows there's value there. So, yeah, hey, Phil Donnelly's got. He's picking up what I'm putting down.
I got a ways to go. Hang on. Agent Chuckles on Facebook says, supporting the show on Agent Chuckles on YouTube, 2 different platforms.
Now he's getting it done.
Brian King says, no HasLab next year. Give us vehicles in the store. Nice dream to have, but it's not about Hasbro. You
Yeah.
say this week in, week out. They would love to put vehicles in the store. Absolutely in love with the idea. It's not up to them. The stores decide what goes on the shelves. And the stores don't want vehicles taking up that much space on the shelf. Well, specifically, they don't want one vehicle taking up a quarter of a 4-foot block when they could have, 36 My Little Ponies or something. So,
well, the only way you're getting large vehicles on the store is if you have four little letters on your box, and they're LEGO.
Right. Or
because they know they'll move the Legos.
Right. Firefly, do you think the O-ring crossovers are a tie-in to the crossover comics that were announced? No,
No, they've been doing these for a while.
no. Those things have been in planning for at least a year and a half. So I don't think the folks at Hasbro would have necessarily known what was going on with the comic specifically that far in advance.
But maybe they saw the movie Enemy Mine, so they knew.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Andrew Gauguin asks, think there's any chance in the near future of seeing the Joe team doing an Army Builder figure set on Hasbro Pulse, like Marvel Legends did with AIM and S.H.I.E.L.D.? You know what? It's a head scratcher to me that they haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think the further away we get from the standard Cobra Troopers, the infantry guys and the Vipers, I think the further away from them that we get, the more likely it is that we'll see that pack, because people will want to, new collectors will want to use that as an entryway to army building, as opposed to going around and collecting all the old figures.
We haven't gone they haven't. I mean, we are getting the female Cobra 2 back, so.
Sure. Again, it like the Viper. We're talking about the Viper like it's ancient history. It was less than 2 years ago.
It was last year, yeah.
Or beginning of last year. So yeah, about 2 years. Vito Ferrara. That is a fantastic name. Mark, which version Junkyard that comes with Mutt reaction figure do you think is the best?
The one that I got. How's that? Honestly, I didn't know there were different versions of Junkyard in the reaction figure.
I think the Mutt figure has Junkyard, and then the one that's on the joke card, the hey, stop with all the downloads Mutt, has a different dog.
Okay.
So I think it's got a brown dog.
They're all good boys, right?
I used to have one sitting around, but then we gave it away. So it was one of the glorious prize package bits that we gave out not long ago.
Because we're generous like that.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
Jason Rose says, sail barge is still on my dresser. Tolerant wife joins Swear John. Well, thank you for all of that.
She did, or you did?
I'm sure she is still swearing into the jar if it's on the dresser. But
when are you going to move that sail barge? Yep.
Right.
Fair enough.
X-Ray Bandicoot asks, Triple T, does that stand for Totally Terrible Transformer?
No, but no prize.
I mean, if
for
they do
anyone
what
who
they did
gets
with
it.
Soundwave, no.
But, welcome to the show, sir. And also to Jeff Bedowd, says Triple T Huffa? That's not a bad idea either.
Yeah, that's it.
Triple T is Tag Team Terminator, if you're scoring at home.
Which means it's the official tank of both Sergeant Slaughter and Barry Windham.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks.
No, because it's tough.
Fair enough.
No, those guys, they are tough. I'll give them that.
Personality-wise, I think
they wrestle through a lot.
Yeah, a lot of flips.
They run the locker room like middle schoolers, but they are physically tough.
Yeah, that guy, one of them kicks out of everything. Can't stop him.
Jay Toygo, I've heard rumblings of Super 7 dropping some kind of reaction vehicle or some kind of rumored set that'll be compatible with the O-rings. Supposedly something at San Diego. Yeah, maybe. It's the same basic scale, so I think anything that comes out for the Super 7 line is kind of compatible with the O-rings. I don't think the aesthetic necessarily works. Like the Super 7 stuff is softer than what we're used to the 3 3/4 Joes looking like. So I don't know how well that works aesthetically, but I think scale wise it works. They all work just fine.
They already gave you a dog sled. What do you want?
Right? Does anybody have that dog sled handy? Can we get eyes on this one?
I don't have a dog sled. I liked it. I'm glad they made it. It was cool, but it was also like $70. So,
yeah, it was pricey.
Yeah.
Is this from Phil Donnelly? Is this what you're referring to?
Yep.
The mock-up was by Don Figueroa. Been online for years. I think 2 third-party makers attempted it.
Yeah, that's that Rolling Thunder Optimus. It's fantastic in theory.
Viper Scout says it is not to scale.
With what, real life?
I guess not. No, I would think not. Cornelius McGillicuddy asks, "Hey Webb, have you ever considered doing a crowdfunding for a toy line?"
That's the nicest thing anybody said to me all month. I appreciate it. The answer is no. But if someone wants to run Eternal Baseball for a year, or who knows, maybe I got some free time coming up. You never know. No, I've offered suggestions when approached on some other people's projects, but no, never really had the end to make my own. So, but I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah, I mean, we should note that to any aspiring toy maker that Mark Weber is available for consultation.
Never know.
He is a professional, so pay him.
Only if you like making money, though. So
right, I mean, easy now. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Hey, man, some people don't. Some people got tired of me making the money.
Andrew Galgan notes that last summer the Lightyear ship was able to get space on shelves. Wonder what the difference is. I think the difference is that's Buzz Lightyear. That's a Disney movie. That's like that's right up there on the A-list with Transformers and the like. Like that's you don't worry about Disney stuff moving. It's more newsworthy when they don't sell than when they do. So
those really didn't.
They didn't so much. They tended to get scooped up by Joe fans looking to customize stuff, but they also were kind of cheap. Like if you want dinky, cruddy, low price point vehicles to represent classified, by all means, I'm not gonna slow your roll. But what we've gotten with classified so far has been pretty high quality. And I'm hoping that the vehicles continue that tradition. If they're going to charge like they are for them, I would certainly hope so. But make no mistake, like for everybody out there fantasizing that getting the Dragonfly HasLab funded means that there's going to be a repaint Tigerfly on the Target shelves somewhere in the near future. No, because it wouldn't be nearly the same quality. Those suckers would be really far less expensive and far more cheaply done, because that's the kind of scale you're dealing with. I mean, you're paying a lot and there aren't a lot of them, but at least you're getting a quality product.
I mean that those Buzz Lightyear ships got onto the shelves because Toy Story movies have a better, it had a more recent history of their toys selling a lot better than G.I. Joe toys recently.
Right. I mean, we're going on
less of a gamble on something that big.
So
it turns out that gamble probably didn't work, so no more. But
right. I mean, but that Lightyear, that as a property, that didn't do well. Like even the movie kind of failed.
Yeah.
But
his ship's not bad. I bought that ship.
Right. But I mean, in context, though, if you're a buyer looking at filling your toy shelves for the holiday season 2022, I'd gamble on Buzz Lightyear. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Based on the previous quarter century of Toy Story crap flying out the doors, hell yeah, I'd buy it. Yeah, by all means. If you're asking the same buyer, hey, I need to dedicate 8 feet of space to 3 G.I. Joe vehicles, I got some cold feet there. If I'm being purely objective, I don't feel nearly as good about that as a department store buyer. Scott says, so I think the Dreadnoks and Junkion should cross over. I mean, if the Junkions were bad guys, I'd say that'd be perfect. But sorry, I'm going through looking for comments. Jay Toigo says, I would love to see Super 7 do something obscure like a Cobra Temple for reaction, or that giant Cobra Snake cargo plane. That would be neat. Giant cargo snake plane is pretty cool. I don't necessarily see them doing that for Super 7, but sure, why not?
I mean, they did make a giant Thunder Tank. Of course, it was $500.
Right.
Yeah. Or the helicopter. People have pushed for that Cobra troop carrier helicopter for ages.
It has a name now, doesn't it? The
Aspen.
The Aspen.
The Aspen? I don't like that though, because there's already an asp, right?
Well, it's a name of it's like a Spanish viper from the viper family of snakes, but it's kind of based in Spain.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be Speed.
I'm not digging it.
Can it carry a lot?
I did push for that though when I was at Hasbro.
Can it carry a lot of semen?
Oh.
So since Hasbro owns Void Rivals as part of the Dark Energon universe, are there going to be Void Rivals figures? I mean, maybe.
Look, Diana knows better than I do, but I'm not sure that's how it works. I don't think that's how it used to work, right? Hasbro didn't rush out a Quinn figure back in the day, right?
Still haven't really.
Yeah.
No, but well, there was one that was pretty good. But think about the ones that Larry made, the new characters he made in the comic that Hasbro never made figures for, right? Or not forever, right? They didn't make a Billy, they didn't make a Dr. Venom, they didn't make a Quinn, and I got to imagine some of that. Yeah, some of that had to be tied up in the fact that those weren't their characters, it wasn't their book. But who owned the rights for them? I don't know. So I'm not saying that they couldn't make Void Rivals figures, but there's probably a royalty to be paid backwards on that. So that would probably kills that one in its crib.
Benjamin Kidd asks, what about the McFarlane Toys 89 Batmobile? Supposedly that will be at retail and it's pretty large. I challenge you to put the 89 Batmobile on a scale and put the Hiss Tank on a scale and tell me which one is giving you more meat.
Yeah.
And also, that's the Batmobile.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Batman.
It's
right?
Batman doesn't need an event to sell. Batman doesn't need a movie. Batman sells because it's Batman.
Yeah, right. Think about your most enduring, probably uninterrupted toy lines, just in general, right? You're thinking Spider-Man, Batman, Ninja Turtles, pretty much, and Power Rangers, right? With maybe some whispers in there. Those have pretty much been on shelves for what, 30 years?
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, there's always been a Batman line since the Batman movie in '89.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could say Star Wars has been running that long continuously now too, since it came back in '95.
Jeff Butler asks, "What are the odds Cobra or Super 7 makes Cold Slither figures next? Now that they'll have a faux 45 record at San Diego." Look, this is the sort of thing that, right? This is the sort of thing that we've wanted Super 7 to do from the onset, right?
Yep.
So I'd put it as pretty high. I look forward to it.
I may buy that.
Yep.
Yeah, that might be what gets me on the Super 7 wagon right there. Again, I love that they're out there. Make no mistake. It's just I only got so much money to spend, and that ain't it.
Snake Eyes and Drag coming soon.
Hey, whatever. Yeah, but Batman in a different weight class.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're running out of time. Let's go ahead and roll into what we got in. Mark Weber, you've been gone for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You got anything in?
They don't have a lot in Europe. But out here in Bend, this is my guy, right? Skywarp's one of my 3 favorite Transformers, and this guy was on the shelf at Walmart. So yeah. Looks like they ran out of purple paint though.
Yeah. He looks
for
like
a boy. Very Thundercracker-esque. But at least on the image of the character, there you go, in the background, he's well purple. So they do know what he's supposed to look like. They just can't make their toy match their own character or box art. But Skywarp's my guy. If I see a Skywarp, he's coming home. So happy about that. And then for the flight out here, if you haven't tried Nerds Gummy Clusters, dude, you are missing out, baby. I saved one here, so you can get a look at this little bad boy.
Ooh.
It's like a soft strawberry licorice on the inside. And then every flavor of Nerds ever right there. So good. That's it. That's what I got in.
How does it stack up with Big League Chew?
Okay, I'm not a gum guy, so
Look,
that's
man,
all you.
neither am I, but Big League Chew.
What flavor though?
Grape? What flavor? Look at the purple on his bag.
I'm just saying, what's your preference? You don't always get what you want. Right?
I'm anxious to try the raspberry flavor that has debuted recently.
Ooh. Well, if it's half as good as a gummy cluster, that's a win. There you go.
Nerds gummy clusters.
They're good.
Racktime
Teeth
Rob.
rotten excitement.
Racktime Rob, what are we getting?
Nothing.
Get out of here, nothing.
Nothing.
That's a lie.
No,
Nothing?
no,
You always get
nothing.
something.
I got
No
nothing.
50-pound omnibus hardcover books arrived this week.
No, I haven't bought any. Yeah, no. Just
I'm smelling bullshit is what I'm smelling. There's got to be
no,
something.
it's nothing. Like I said, I
I'm
mean, like
smelling
3 weeks
gummy
ago, I bought
clusters.
another bat because they were on sale. I mean, that's been it.
Technically, it's a Batman figure.
I
I got a
Even
bunch
if
of stuff. Now I got notice that the payment cleared for my Arctic bats from the Pulse. So
Yeah,
Me
coming.
too.
that same.
Me too. You're not
Yeah.
special.
So anyway,
but nothing.
Big League Chew has outlasted its reference material. Well,
That's true.
Well,
kind of.
good.
Nick Adams, nerds. Are you talking about my kids? Man,
Sure.
man.
Oh, Nick,
Tough crowd.
those big-headed kids.
How does Big League Chew stack up to nerds? You don't have to worry about swallowing nerds.
Hmm.
Who worries about swallowing Big League Chew? It's gum, man. Just spit it out. Just let it go. Hot chocolate Big League Chew. Ooh.
Terrible.
Oh, man. I got to try that.
I think they did that a while ago when we were kids, but like people were like horrified because it was really starting to get close to chewing tobacco.
I got to try that.
I think it was
Let's
like
give
Tootsie
that a-
Roll,
Well, sure. Look, chocolate chewy candy is not anything new.
Love Tootsie Rolls.
Diana Davis notes that, okay, at the back of the comic bottom of Kirkman's letter, it mentions Void Rivals as a Hasbro trademark, not Image or Skybound. So
All right.
All right.
we may have to just put a pin in that one and maybe come back to it at a later time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But I got some stuff. This past Sunday, I was out at the Ohio Toy and Comic Show, run by our wonderful friends at Roma Collectibles. So I made the trip out to Dayton. I got myself some vintage Joes. Tonight, it was a good show for that sort of thing. Some of them were blatantly and horrifically overpriced, but not everybody. There's still good people out there that are willing to actually not gouge you on these things. And so first up, we got a nice Slipstream.
How's that nose?
He's got a little bit of a rub on it. But with Slipstream, I have one that doesn't have a nose rub. It's got like a really good dome, but the rest of them is beat to hell. Whereas this one is a really good body, and I can just swap out the head if it bothers me that much.
There you go.
And then from the freak side of things, because I knew I have no desire to own the mobile command center, right? Like it's fine, but it does not float my boat.
The tackle box.
Right. It's just it just doesn't work for me on a number of levels. So I went ahead and got Mr. 10 Abs himself, Steamroller.
Yeah.
Just because he was relatively inexpensive. He's in pretty good shape. He's got a little scuff on his hat, but that's about it. And that's as far that like I can close the book on Steamroller. He's a nice extra guy to have floating around the motor pool. That is a terrible figure, by the way. It is not a good figure.
I love the junk holster. That's a good look.
Right. Like he's got weird like puffy legs. He's got too many abs. His choice of costumery is gaudy.
He is the height of middle of nowhere dying truck stop chic.
Right. It's he is a background player in Over the Top. That's what he is.
Ooh.
Or Convoy.
How much per ab did they charge you? About $2.
$2 an ab. That's not bad.
About $2 an ab. But Jeff Butler says he got a certain What's on Joe Mind clicky pen. I know we have a picture of it later. And then also, we wrangled in one of these guys. A nice 1983 Cobra Trooper with his gun. So good times there. And then we got his
black or blue for the gun. I couldn't tell.
No, it's black. It's the original one.
Atta boy.
And then we got his big brother. We got a Viper. A little bit of a scuff on the mask, just a very little bit, but not too bad. Kind of looks like a cool goatee.
Some of the other Vipers drew on there with marker.
Right, just
Viper.
He was sleeping. They went with blue marker on that.
Drill Sergeant Andy Reid drew it on there.
They put his hand in warm water too.
Yeah, just for good measure. And then, of course, there we go. It's number 85. He's a real nice one, and he was really, really affordable because there's good people out there that just want to sell you toys.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one on premises that I had to let go because dude wanted $75 for it.
Nope. And
that's a no. He even saw me looking at it, and I like, oh, you want to take that one home? Like, not $75, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's what they're going for. Like, dude, I have 84 of them.
Not now, they aren't.
Yeah. I haven't paid $75 for 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm something of an expert on this particular spot of the consumer universe. I know what I'm talking about on this one. And the excuse he gave after that was it had its file card, so it was worth $75.
Oh.
I was like, man, I'm not having an argument with you. I'm just going to let you. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
You know what else has its file card? 3D Joe's.
That's right.
That's
when you need to have you got to have the conversation. How much for that? He goes 75, and you answer with dollars.
Right. Like I'm not huge. Like the file cards are great. If there's a nice one there, I'll pick one up on that, or if it comes with it, I'll certainly buy that, or be willing to spend a couple extra bucks to get it, but not $75.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you got the original,
Right. Like this, there were some of the real common guys from that 86 run too, like Sci-Fi and Dial Tone, and it just dime a dozen types, find them in good shape all the time, and he was wanting over $50 for each of them. It was like, clearly we got somebody who just doesn't know what he's dealing with.
Was his table not real busy, I'm going to guess?
No, he really wasn't. There were a lot of people around it because he had nice stuff to sell.
Yep.
But it wasn't nearly as nice as he thought it was.
No, I'm going to correct you. He had nice stuff, just not to sell.
Yeah, it was clearly like it was his own personal collection. And there's just some some extra value there, sentimental value attached to these items.
What he actually had was a kind of boring diorama.
And I do want to bring this up because we got him last week, but Mark wasn't around for that, and I can't bank on any of my hosts watching episodes that they're not on.
I'm on vacation.
Right. But from our viewer, Cheapest Big Spender, here is the MC of Beach Party 86.
There's Spuds McKenzie.
Right. He's got a beachhead mask. Let me read the note that came with him. This is, I know this is a rerun for everybody else. We got to get it for Mark.
Spuds McBeachhead.
This is the MC beachhead of the Beach Party 86. You got Polly. Shipwreck and Polly had a falling out. And MC needs help controlling and insulting all those beachheads. And why is he wearing his balaclava? If he wasn't wearing it, you wouldn't know it was him. Excellent point. The tan ammo satchel. If it was black like the other ones, he might bring ammo instead of his beach supplies. So good call there.
It's a beach tote.
Good call going with Clem.
Yep.
His ankles are wrapped because they're ugly. Do not ask about them.
He's got chunky ankles. Cankles.
He has to have his water gun to hose down all the beachheads.
Yeah,
they're on the beach with those magazines on their chest in the sun would cause some serious problems. Safety first. He's got a boogie board because, man, he loves to boogie. So that is the MC of Beach Party 86. He is not a member officially,
right?
Because he's got to be in charge, right? Somebody's got to.
Spuds McBeachhead.
I keep this. I'm keeping this on my desk because every time I look at him, I chuckle a little bit. I cannot help it. This is fantastic. I'm also impressed that he sent me a Polly that has feet.
Mm-hmm.
He just clipped right on the hose there. He just sits right, no help or nothing. It's where you don't go no place. So that right there, Polly with feet, means this is a $200 figure according to that one guy.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but the only place to get new G.I. Joe characters is from our comment section.
Yeah,
I think so.
And he did a damn good job. So
he did fantastic.
Oh, yep.
Torpedo Mike asked, "No, what's on Joe Mine discount? Didn't he know who you are?" He clearly did not.
No.
Apparently not.
Because he looked at me kind of cross-eyed when I said I had 84 of them. Because yeah. But so yeah, that's what we got in. We're rolling late tonight, and that's okay because my God, there's a lot of news. So it's probably the last. It's probably the last time we're going to run long for a while. So
right.
I'm criticizing Yojo June, but once normal July rolls around, I'll be bitching that there's no news to cover.
Yeah, we're probably getting pretty dry until PulseCon.
Right.
Man, I'm on the West
maybe some
Coast.
San Diego stuff.
It's still bright out here, man. I can do this all day. What's
right
next?
now? In fairness, just with what time of year it is, when we got started at 9:05, the sun was still out. But for us too. Granted, it was peering underneath smoky Canadian skies. But it's even earlier for Torpedo Mike, man. You're
Look at that.
He's on Hawaii time. You got nothing on him.
I was able to stare directly at the sun and not go blind or be driven to madness.
Right,
that's how crazy it is.
Matt Rubin notes that normal July is Cobra Converted 7, and that is the truth. We're up early on that one. Next Tuesday is our day. July 4th is our day. We will not have a live team stream at night. But, rather we will have a special pre-recorded episode for you that'll be available that afternoon, and you can just consume it at your leisure, depending on what your plans with the family and friends are. So we'll just leave you with that, and you can see it next week when it comes up. Scott says maybe that's why that's $75. It's now rare because of your collection. No, believe me, that beachhead is probably one of the more common figures in the entire line. One of the peak years of sales, a popular character. There's probably more than 1 million of this figure on its own. So yeah, my 85, not moving the needle.
I don't know, with your horde and the proliferation of busted crotches, good beachheads are getting rarer and rarer every day.
Look,
and the next one is Beach Party 86, number 86, right?
Correct.
Oh,
correct. It is a special anniversary beachhead next time.
Yeah, big shoes.
So, perhaps the biggest purchase since number 69.
Instead of most people probably think, oh, you should get like a mint on card or whatever, or something really special. I would go the other way and just get the rattiest, worst one of all time, right? No crotch, no thumbs, flop ass arms.
That one of the few rules that I have is that it has to be a figure, right? Like it can't just be parts.
Right.
So anyways.
I want you to get one with knees so floppy that he legit cannot stand. He just looks passed out all the time.
There's one in there that's close. But Benjamin Kitt says, you guys have smoky skies down there too. Headed up here in northern Indiana near South Bend. That's where our brother lives. We have an air advisory today and tomorrow. Yeah, we're just outside Indianapolis. So
we are under air advisory as well tomorrow.
Come to Bend. Everything's good here.
What was special about 69? Was there a 12-inch Joe called Beachhead back then? No. I wasn't born then. Oh, you were born? No, none of us were born then, dude. It was number 69.
Wink, wink.
Come on.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This
is a show that leans heavily on running gags, and that's a number that's a running gag entirely on its own.
Now, remember, he's new.
Right. So, yeah, that's a societal thing. That's bigger than all of us. So, yeah, we got that bad Canadian air. But
not often you get to say that.
Right. But so let's go ahead and shout it out. Racktime Rob, go ahead.
All right, shout out to the studio audience, of course. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Negative shout out to Hasbro PR.
Good.
Apparently, I was such a disruptive influence.
Right.
I'm sure we'll get usable product photos next week sometime.
Yeah, it's not when they sent last week's. A couple days after.
Diana Davis finally breaking it down. It's a sex joke, Scott.
Be nice to Scott.
Right? Be nice to Scott.
One of our more popular segments.
One of our more popular segments. Is it a sex joke?
Sex joke or not a sex joke?
Right.
Right up there with Will It Float and
innuendo or innuendo?
Yeah.
Matt Rubin.
Yeah.
Rob just said negative shout out. Just give him the one finger salute and go. Yeah, you know what? That's right.
Look, in fairness, it might not have been intentional. It might have just been incompetent.
Right.
Oh,
but either way, entirely tired of it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that after all we went through to get there in the first place, it's probably not just incompetent. Anyways. Mark Weber. I'm sure you have many shout outs.
You know what? We'll just shout out. Let's see. I got a good picture this week of my favorite teacher of all time. Was a guy named Arlie Seams, who's my 5th grade teacher. And the field at the school, my elementary school, is named after him, Seams Field. So I have a shirt that has stitching in the middle that just says Seams Legit. And I wore that out to Seams Field for a selfie. And I'm not a selfie guy. I've taken like 5 in my life, but that was a good one. So shout out Arlie Seams, my favorite teacher of all time. And anytime I come out to Bend, there's very little left from when I was here. Like the town's grown quite a bit. But anything I can get to eat that doesn't exist in Barrington, Rhode Island, I'm there. So we're going to shout out Dandy's Drive-In. That's one of the rare ones that survived the test of time. But stuff most people can get all the time. Arby's, right? Carl's Jr., Del Taco. Half of the Sneaky Boys. So
you don't have
I'm
Arby's?
eating good in the neighborhood. There's only the closest Arby's is like 90 minutes away.
Wow.
So once we get up towards Boston or kind of diagonal of Boston, when we see one, we're like, oh, hell yeah. And one day, one infamous family trip, we went to a small amusement park in Massachusetts, and there was an Arby's near it. And we just barely got there before they closed, like 8:58. And I've been thinking about that beef and cheddar all day, baby. And I'm like, give me that beef and cheddar, curly fries, soda, whatever. They, all right, cool, we got it. As soon as we drove out, they pretty much turned off the lights. And we were 15 miles away. Got back on the main freeway before Michelle, riding shotgun, unwraps the beef and cheddar for me. No cheddar. on the beef
No!
and cheddar. And
Oh!
we were 15 miles away, and it didn't matter because they were closed anyway.
Right.
And I'm like, mother, how you gonna forget the cheddar on a beef and cheddar?
Did they at least give you a package of horsey sauce?
I think it had sauce on. I'm not a horsey sauce guy, but I'm an Arby's sauce guy. So it had some sauce on it, but not the cheese. Man.
Horsey sauce is the business,
Man. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to Jake Rose from the comments who says he drove through Bend last week.
That's about all there is to do with Bend.
Come on. Heaven on earth. He's either a liar or has the most willpower we've ever met that he didn't stay. Hard to leave Bend. Heaven on earth.
Cornelius McGillicuddy. Diana Davis, why you telling the business? That's fantastic. But what else you got, Mark? Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Dave McDonald says maybe Hasbro thought you guys were busy with Batman the Animated Series podcast.
Could be.
We got an Arby's within a mile of us here, but there's a highway you got to cross, and then on either side of the highway there's construction traffic. So that's the longest mile in the United States. So I haven't been to Arby's in a while.
Not unless you go up the back. Then you only have to deal with the McDonald's.
Hey, Doug Dello's got a comment. I gotta slap him about. Says I can rent at Blockbuster. I built that Blockbuster. Thank you very much. That's right. That's the house that Webb built.
Be nice. Be nice to the swear jarriers, Mark.
Legit. I could walk in there, pick up an armload of whatever the hell I wanted. And when they said, sir, I'd say, call Ken. And they would. And Ken would be like, redhead? Kind of full of himself? Is his name Mark? Yeah. Okay, let him go. That's exactly how that would go. So the last Blockbuster, my Blockbuster. Dig it. Let me know if you want a t-shirt.
But I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to double Rob shout out to our audience. If you're catching us live, if you're catching us on replay, if you're listening to us audio only, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for keeping this engine running. Remember, if you're listening to us on YouTube, be sure you like the show. We haven't gotten so many thumbs up in recent weeks. Let's get some thumbs up going over there. Let's like the program. Subscribe to the channel. We've been doing a good job with that lately. Let's keep that going. Comment, make a big boy comment down below. Share us in all your social media circles, whether it's Facebook groups or Reddit posts or what have you. Let's get the word out there because I think we do good work here. I think we do better work than most folks. And somehow they got more clicks than we do. So let's fix that. That's up to you guys. And certainly invites. But want to give a shout out, of course, to Mark Weber and to the ailing Nola Weber, who he is taking care of. So we hope everything continues to go well there. She's just continues to mend. To, of course, Ragtime Rob, who is here interrupting his busy schedule of nothing.
It's glorious.
To Joe Colton and the wrist lock. To Joe Colton and the wrist lock, and of course, Baby Mango Habanero. We love you. We miss you. We'll see you again soon. To our guest hosts who have helped us out over especially this past couple of weeks. We've had Phil, we've had Mark, we've had Phil, we've had Brian, we've had Mark was sub-hosting for Mark. We've had Troy.
I hate that guy. He sucks.
Yeah, he's terrible. That Mark Weber, he's the worst.
Know it all.
So, thanks to all those guys for stepping in when we needed you, and we'll, of course, continue to need you.
Don't forget Troy.
I didn't forget Troy.
Okay.
Shut your mouth.
Who?
Stop trying to talk over me. Anyways. But, what was I talking about? I forget. Oh, yeah, shout-outs. Yeah. But, it's about it. It's about what we got. If you can't tell, I'm very tired.
Let's go another hour.
Woo!
Super chat.
Of course, shout out to Brian, who took the night off tonight. Worry not. He just jiggled his schedule around a little bit. he will be back to live stream tomorrow. He's going Wednesday instead of Tuesday this week. Whatever. I mean, we got lives, folks. Sometimes Tuesday doesn't work. But he'll be back, so worry not. No emergency. I think he just made plans with his lady friend. So it's all okay. Don't panic. Besides, that guy's on Facebook and Twitter all the time anyway, so I'm sure he already told you.
Tomorrow night.
Right. He's home tomorrow, so just tune in tomorrow. Be here for the HCC 788 live cast or whatever he calls it. I don't know. Doesn't have a catchy name like TeamStream, so. But we're not here to judge. Rob?
I mean, we kind of are. But
you kind of are.
Apparently, there was something just leaked.
Right. So we'll let Matt Rubin get credit. Crimson Rifle, Nunchuck, and Retro Firefly just got leaked.
All right. I only got to buy one figure tomorrow.
Right. That's been leaked for a while. So I don't know if that's in the I'll believe it when I see it file or not. We'll find out soon. But we're certainly not going to do it now with everybody on the air because Lord knows we're running long. This might be the longest one we've done in the YouTube era. So for my co-host, Racktime Rob, Mark Weber, I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. Be sure to join us next Tuesday sometime in the afternoon. We'll get that figured out. It won't be too late, though, as we bring you a special July 4th holiday edition / Cobra Convergence 7 edition of What's on Joe Mind. And then join us back for another team stream the following Tuesday at 9:05 p.m. here on the Superstation. Till then, as our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. Have a great rest of the week. Yo, Joe.
Oregon.